Hello. I'm out here. I'm a little bit south of you guys, up there where you're going to go burn that man. I don't know why you are going to burn that man, and I wonder how the man is chosen. I mean, is this like Shirley Jackson, People have to pick straws. Oh, and what about women? I don't understand it. I think you should, you know what I think? I think you should build some big effigy of a man and burn that instead, okay? Just, give me credit if you actually do that. Unless somebody's already thought of that, in which case, never mind. Anyway, my name is Will Gottsford. I also known as Marcel Gottsford. But Will now. Because it is a matter of will. And actually a perverse kind of thing is one of the great movies of the 1930s was called Triumph of the Will by Leni Rieftoffel. Isn't that, Rieftoffel is that you go Indonesian banquet, but Leni Rieftoffel, something like. And she was, she was Hitler's pornographer. And I mean, pornography show the Nazi machine in all of its glory. Make people understand about the glory that is to be the 1,000-year Reich. So, will can be certainly used in a bad way. Excuse me. And it could also be used in a good way. I've been kind of looking for a little romantic companionship, with a low emphasis on romance, but companionship. I'm a man and with a woman. Okay, that's what I happen to be interested in for quite a while, and I'm finding it actually very difficult because people seem to be taught that you don't trust yourself, don't trust your heart. If you like somebody, be careful. The children of today are learning to become part of the matrix. It's up to us to bring Zion to Babylon. From some points of view, what you're doing up there in Burning Man is a bunch of rich kids, even a lot of 40-year-old kids and 50-year-old kids. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with that. In fact, the child in us is so important. And thank God you're doing that. And I'd be there, except it turns out dogs, I guess, I was told, it's a problem for the dogs. Just too much going on. Dogs get scared, scared. So I understand that, but I got my dog. And anyway, I couldn't get a ticket. And anyway, at the moment in my life right now, I'm thinking about a lot of different possible groups of people. Just today in the town right near the interstate here, I was speaking to a conservative middle-aged couple. The woman had a stroke. I mean, a little old. I mean, not middle-aged, older middle-aged, like 60s or something. Woman had a stroke, and that's just I have professional interest in that. That's my background, not strokes per se, but people who've had some kind of injury or illness. I'm an occupational therapist, and well. What I learned in occupational therapy school was basically kind of a westernized approach to what yoga is an approach to. The mind-body connection. And the arts are such an important part of developing that connection. We've got our imaginations, and then we've got bodies that either draw or paint or sculpt, or we've got voices that sing, that tell stories. We've got, everybody. And then I think, the things that we consider sciences have their own arts part to them. I don't really want to say, I don't think the arts are superior to the sciences, but the arts are absolutely as essential, and maybe more essential in my mind. Well, I don't know. I mean, we'd be living in caves without science. So, so let's not, say art as opposed to science. I think we can say art as opposed to anti-art forces. And technology frequently is anti-art because technology is all about what's good for machines. And, you know, what's going to make money or what's going to not cost too much money, you know, what's going to be fast enough, you know, etc. All that. Those are the values of technology. And when the people in charge of making decisions are solidly with human values, they say, excuse me, machine, I'm not going to rely on you to tell me what's up. I'm going to use some good old-fashioned human face-to-face. I'm going to kind of get together with somebody that I don't know. Maybe an enemy. Find out that maybe that enemy is not truly my enemy. That in fact, that person's enemy is the same as my enemy. The anti-life forces are the enemies. Sometimes that can be embodied in people, but frequently it's not the individual people that matter, although sometimes, you know, if we could have that guy Rommel had gotten rid of Hitler in 1943 or whenever he was part of a plot to kill Hitler, and then he wound up dying, you know, because the plot failed. And, you know, if he had killed Hitler, a lot of people wouldn't have died. Like, you know, like some huge number of people wouldn't have died if he had succeeded in killing Hitler. He died. That's what, you know, I put Rommel as a person that high up in my sense of people. I mean, he first was a general under Hitler, and then he realized this guy is a frickin' madman. We got to stop him. And it cost him his life. Good for him. I mean, he's a man. Or person, not man more than a woman. You know, a grown-up. A grown-up. Takes it. Okay, do it. Got to do it. We got to stop this guy, this madman, Hitler. And you know, there actually are a lot of individuals in this world that need to be stopped. How about that guy in Syria? Why isn't the world saying, look, we're not, I saw this headline, you know, new punishment. No, punishment is nothing. There's only one way. I mean, we could see if we could possibly capture the guy and then let him live on within a mansion or something, just to show the world that we believe in. I mean, just because we told him that. I mean, that seems stupid. But if it worked, I would say, sure, let him live as long as he can't do anything. If that will get him to agree a minute sooner, then give him a fine life. I mean, he doesn't deserve it, but make sure he can't possibly ever hurt another person again. If he's willing to do that, fine. But of course, we know who he is. There's only one way to stop this guy. Bam! And if my country said to me, look, we know you, Will, you're the one who could kill Assad, I'd do it like that. Because he has to. I mean, that's just the responsible thing. I'm very opposed to killing in general. I mean, when it's not necessary. I really don't have a problem with mosquitoes, to be honest. Bam, you fucking thing. Excuse my language, you know? I'm not sorry about killing those. But, you know, life, animals, plants even. I mean, why kill them? Why kill magnificent trees and let them live, you know? Anyway, we people who have the privilege, and I'm one of you, I'm a son of privilege. I have the ability, not rich, but by world standards, by historical standards, I'm able to live where I want, when I want, live off savings. I don't have to scrounge for money. Though, I think there's a lot of money actually to be made in the revolution. And that's not the reason to have the revolution, but actually a revolution must generate my income. And instead of, we're not talking about a guerrilla war, again, like that we're hiding way out in the jungle and we're growing coca and smuggling it out, or opium, and to smuggle it out to pay for what we're doing. We're talking about a revolution in thinking and feeling about what's important. And that we can go out and we can help people believe in themselves. And the way we get there is by believing in ourselves. It's what Gandhi said. He said something to the order of that we each of us have the capacity. We have the power to become the change we seek in the world. And now, with the kind of technology we have, with a phone, a camera, and internet access, that's it. We have the ability to communicate. We have the ability to change hearts and minds to the good. And we could feel good about doing that. We're not always going to be sure that we're right. And if we screw up in the service of good, we hurt people, well, we've got to make amends. Can't say, oh, I'm a good person, so I won't worry about collateral damage, No, any collateral damage that's a result from my dancing, if I'm dancing and people go, look at that person, and they run over a little kid, or the little kid is looking at me instead of looking at the, running out in front of this car or whatever, that's my fault. I've had kind of thoughts of oh my God, and certain moments have happened, and I'll go, it would have had to be a very bad confluence to result in tragedy, but I could see it. I mean, really, I could imagine all that had to happen was I was a little closer, that person was a little over here, and I could hear it, because I've been in accidents and I have a sense of what it's kind of like, and not pleasant, not pleasant at all, And I've seen it in my imagination, and that has been helpful to me in becoming a safer driver. The more I see actual possibilities, the more I notice when something might happen, and go, okay, slow down. You're worried about where the turn is, but much more importantly, make sure that little funny little dark shape over there isn't, in fact, some dog running across the street, or a person. Oh my God, you gotta pay more. It's okay. You're lost. You think the turn is right here, and if you go past it, you're gonna have you gotta go way down there. You gotta turn this way and then turn around, and by the time you get back to your road, it's gonna be really late. But more important, make sure you don't run over somebody on the way. So anyway, I was expecting this to be short and giving one of my sermons when I realized I'm a sermonizer. And, if you don't like my sermons, I will come and beat you up personally. Actually, I find that to be a rather onerous part of my job description. Beat up anybody who doesn't listen to you. So I just say to my boss, sir, I prefer not. And I mean, if it's driving my boss crazy, he's going, what the frick? You signed on to this, but I just prefer not. That's all there is to it. We'll see you around. And I don't know when my next update will be. It might not be for a little while, but then again, it might be. I don't really know. So all the people I've talked to so far, I hope to see again. And I truly believe that the revolution, I've been hearing, it's like to me, it's been a very solitary journey, because everybody around me thinks I'm crazy. I mean, everybody who's known me. People who see me in the street, a lot of them think I'm crazy too, but whenever we talk, no, they know I'm not crazy. They might think, anyway. So, it's been lonely. And what's been happening recently is that I've begun to realize that there are a lot of other people who have had their own lonely journeys, and some of them have already met other people, and I think that's the thing about a place, something like Burning Man. But why not have that kind of stuff? The kind of stuff that's happening at Burning Man, the values. It doesn't matter the details. I mean, actually, what's happening? It's too hard for me to stoop there. It's not important what's actually happening, but rather the values that are underneath it. The why is it happening? in the way it's happening? What are the rules about, and how do people figure out how to work together and all that stuff? I mean, I think there's so much to teach the world from the kind of thing that I imagine is going on. So I plan to stay actually outside, not really know what's going on, and talk to you in the way I think things are, so that you should just know that, hey, anything I say is not really an actual opinion. It's just a conjecture based on the fact that my son and his girlfriend were there last year and might be there now, for all I know. I might see them. But as they know, well, she might not know, and she might be a little surprised, but my son knows that we don't acknowledge each other in public. I mean, a little phone call, if he sees me, he can call me up, and I'll talk to him. I'll say, hey, son, but in public, who the hell are you? No, I just want to see him. I wouldn't pay attention. I'd interact with the person right next to him, and I'd make a point. In fact, if I was feeling distracted, I would go on, and I'd go to someplace else, because what could be more distracting than somebody you truly love all of a sudden in your face when you're in the middle of, I don't know, citing chapter and verse of obscure Shakespeare-like auteurs of the 13th century in Florence, and the Nightingales. Never mind. I mean, if that made any sense to you, I have a good healer, mental healer, for you to talk to.